most people don't understand money and finances. They can have investments, but they don't necessarily understand it. And if they don't have a really solid person that they can trust to really break it down to them and ask questions for them when they have, then hey, they kind of just go without. So when you're able to fill that void and present who you are, that's the start to building a relationship.
What's going on, everybody? This is Gene Martin with Route 7 Orlando, and thank you for tuning in to our Member Spotlight. For those of you that are not familiar with Route 7 Orlando, we are a member-based nonprofit organization of men. Our mission, we are a network of gentlemen driven to promote growth amongst the community and each other. Byron! Hey, what's going on, man?
What's up, Jim?
Good to see you. Good to see you.
You too, brother. Man, it's a pleasure.
Nice to see you.
Thanks for having us.
Hey, nice to see my brothers from outside.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you having us here in your office. Edward Jones, Mr. Byron Tobias. We appreciate you being a member and appreciate you taking part of our member spotlight today, man. So good to have you with us today, or so good for us to be with you. Excuse me. Beautiful office. Definitely appreciate you having us, man.
Hey, you're very welcome, man. Thanks for having me on the spotlight there. I love Route 7, love being a part of it. So, hey,
Well,
ready to talk.
Well, fantastic. Well, you know, we would love to get to know you more. Tell us about yourself.
Sure. So, as you guys know, I'm a financial advisor. So we're here in my office here, which I've had since February 2017.
Okay.
I'm actually basically been in the industry, believe it or not, for actually going on 24 years.
Wow.
So it's the same year my son was born. And so it's just something I'm very passionate about doing. So how I grew up was basically was born and raised in Chicago.
Okay, from the shop?
But from the Chi, definitely. South Side. So I know the Chi sometimes gets a bad reputation. The Chi is definitely real, but it's not as bad as like the news. Most families are working families. They're basically most people aren't involved in gangs and shootings and so forth. It's really tight-knit communities that that really try to uplift each other, but there's that other elements of things, and people just trying to make it. But hey, you have a lot of things that happen, politicians and so forth. But Chicago definitely taught me a kind of real life. It prepared me for the next steps in my life, which I kind of went to college here in Florida.
Okay.
What school you went to?
So I went to FAMU. So FAMU was my first choice, but also it was one of 3 HBCUs that I wanted to. I only applied to HBCUs, so I chose HBCUs because of really the history of HBCUs, knowing that it was a time when we couldn't attend college with other races, and for those colleges to start up and basically be very significant still nowadays. I wanted to really soak in that culture. It kind of was a culture I was used to, because unfortunately Chicago is very segregated in itself. But I wanted to really soak in that culture of a HBCU. I felt they would put a lot of work into me and help make me successful, and so that's what I sought after. FAMU was my first choice. I also applied to Clark and Jackson State.
Okay.
FAMU was the last one to let me know, but I looked at it as it was one of the top HBCUs, and it still is. And then the other thing is it was HBCU and it's in Florida. So I'm coming from Chicago, so coming from Chicago, weather, and it's in Florida. I just knew I couldn't go wrong with that.
Well, I love that you were very intentional about your choice, and it seems that you made the right decision. Seems as though if you've been a financial advisor for 20 some odd years, and you've been here for 20 some odd years as well. So I love to have you down here in Orlando. So tell us how you got to Orlando, and walk us through your professional journey. How did you get to become a financial advisor?
Sure. That's really really good, great, and touching story in itself. So coming to FAMU, basically my 2 weeks into school, I had an older brother. He was 11 years older than me, and but he had a serious illness, and he passed away, 2 weeks into college. Like, I knew he was really sick when I left, but at that age, 18 or so, you're a little naive about certain things. Definitely wasn't expecting him to pass away, but he was very smart. He had went to HBCU as well. He had went to Texas Southern, but he didn't have a wife or didn't have any kids. But he had a life insurance policy that he kept, although he hadn't worked the past 2 years due to his illness, as he got very ill. But I guess he had a conversation with my parents to make me and my older sister beneficiaries of the policy. Actually, he was initially going to make my parents the beneficiary, and they said, no, hey, just make your brother and sister the beneficiary of that policy. And so apparently that's what he did. Now, this was not to our knowledge to his passing, but upon his passing, I was told about the life insurance policy. It wasn't anything too big. It was like a $50,000 policy that me and my sister split, 25 and 25. But my parents, we didn't really talk about money growing up. We didn't talk about, I never heard them talk about investing or stocks or what a stock was or anything like that. Didn't hear them talk about their retirement accounts and none of that. I just knew that they went to work, they made money, and we didn't have a lot of it. I mean, we wasn't hurting for anything, but we definitely didn't have a lot of it. Probably closer to the not having a lot of it part. But they just told me put in CDs at the bank, so that's what my mother said, and so I just listened to her. And, I thought nothing of it, put in CDs at the bank. Lucky for me, though, a year later, a lady at LaSalle Bank in downtown Chicago, which is actually now owned by Chase, she wanted to talk to me. So when I was home, I set up an appointment and talked to her, and she talked to me about mutual funds. And she told me what a mutual fund was. She showed me like how the investment grew over a period of time. I sat there and listened to her. She said, yeah, if this money is long term, you don't need to use it now. You can give it some opportunity to grow. And I sat there, I was like, yeah, you're right. I don't need it now. So let's do that. And so long story short, I took her advice, put a good portion into mutual funds, but that started turning my ears about money and finances. And I actually started buying Smart Money magazine. I had that at college, would have that in my room, and then I ended up changing my major in college as well. So it was originally computer information systems. Then I changed it to business economics, which definitely took on more business courses and finance courses.
Makes sense.
Yeah, and pretty much my senior year is when I really kind of honed in on, you're interviewing for different jobs, you're trying to get a job, that's the main thing. But I really I saw that I had more passion and focus towards financial services jobs. And so that's what I did. I basically pursued different opportunities. I think I applied to Wachovia, but I landed a job with Charles Schwab here in Maitland, coming out of college, and it kind of worked out where I had Orlando in mind, similar to how I had FAMU in mind. It I feel God always kind of helps point me in the right direction. And actually, another reason I had Orlando in mind, my son's mother, she was from the area, and so it just kind of worked out. And that investing that money though did help me. It actually helped pay for a semester of college when things got tight for my family. It helped me replace a used vehicle when my vehicle went out in college, and it helped lead to me putting money down towards my first home less than 2 years coming out of college.
Man, that's amazing.
Yeah, so something that was unfortunate, event there definitely led to me a blessing, and kind of really led to my career and what I do now.
And it's unique how that actually guided your steps, but you really touched on something that I said Route 7, how we started one of our annual speaker series, which is Money Talks, our Money Talks speaker series. And it's the sole fact that in our community, and especially in the Black community, and especially in our Black households, we do not have conversations about money. And there are uncomfortable conversations. I know it, for some households, hey, that's grown folks' business, and that's something that you don't steer towards. But you being, that unfortunate situation, guiding your steps to a career path where you're able to help so many more people. So, as you said, you started off with Charles Schwab. Now you're at Edward Jones. We're in your office. What does your day-to-day look like? And then, let's just start there. What does your day-to-day look like as you help your clients?
Sure. And did you also, would you like a little bit more background of kind of my time at Charles Schwab and what did I do?
How did that experience
transition
lead you
get me
here?
here?
Yeah.
Okay, so at Charles Schwab, so coming there, basically they are hiring you with the intentions of contingency on you getting licensed, getting your securities license. So you had a contingency of employment you had to sign, and so that was something. Hey, I was fine. I was in study mode. I could pass this test, but there were a lot of people that didn't pass. The test there. So it's not an easy test, but basically it's a Series 7 test that allows you to do stock trading, stock advice, mutual funds, bonds, individual bonds, tax-free bonds, exchange traded funds. They have those now, and then also you have what else? I'm forgetting something. Mutual fund. Oh, basically like just trade. Oh, options trading.
And did you have like a time limit when you had to complete that?
Yeah, so you had a a 6-month time frame? I believe it was. I can't remember if it was 3 or 6 months.
Okay.
So that you had to, they provided study material and gave you everything. You had a class, but you had to pass the test, and you had 3 times to take it. After the 3rd time, whatever. But I was able to pass just fine. But I obtained those license. So the one license in the Series 63 is just a state license.
Okay.
Allows you to be registered in different states. So even now, as an advisor, I can work with clients anywhere in any state, so not just in Florida.
Gotcha.
And so hey, I started working there. I always worked. Charles Schwab had 2 sides of their businesses. They had, you can actively trade there, or you can. They have investors. So I always work with investors, and that's kind of just kind of more me as well. Not a huge risk taker, but I work with investors, different teams there. It was pretty great. Basically work with people that had, like, say, 25,000 or more, then move to a team that had 100,000 or more, 500,000 or more, then a million or more.
So you're the money man.
Yeah, so I had great progression, but I'll tell you guys this, that during that time wasn't always like gravy, because if you remember, I started in 1999. That was technology and stock market, techcompanies.com, everything was booming.
Yeah.
Anything that had technology or .com behind it, you can buy it. You didn't even have to look at what it was. It was just going up. But as soon as Y2K came, and you remember, I don't know if you guys remember, when pretty much nothing really happened with Y2K.
Everybody was just waiting for the clock to turn, and then it was like, it's business as usual.
Yeah, we actually had to go to work on New Year's over midnight or whatever, because they were thinking that something's going to happen to our systems or whatever. Nothing happened. We wasted our time. We were able to go home. But also, hey, the stock market took a downturn after that. So a lot of these tech companies that had a lot of money built in, hey, that was boosting up the stock market. Technology companies went down. Stock market started to go down. And then, of course, 9/11 happened in 2001, September of 2001, which further kind of shifted the economy as well towards a little decline. And that was the first time 3 years in a row the stock market was down 3 years straight. That 2000, 2001, and 2002. And during that time, the company had layoffs pretty much 4 of the 5 years I was there. And that wasn't a good feeling to be in. So although I was working for a great company, it had some accolades, being in position of getting laid off was not cool, and knowing they have these rounds coming up, are you going to get laid off, and so forth. So I was just smart enough to, like, during that time, I recognized that, hey, I had an entrepreneur interest, and I started an online business, actually with a friend of mine, and it's a hobby business selling like custom wheels and tires, so rims and tires. Remember, I was a young man, so I did like my cars or whatever. But I figured, hey, this is something that I can buy. You can buy at a certain price, and then you can sell them and save people money or whatever. So anyway, I started that as an online business, and then I had something to fall back on. When unfortunately it was a big layoff I couldn't avoid. And that's what I did. I decided to work. I worked for a company for 5 years. I decided to dedicate 5 years for working for myself. When I got laid off, I didn't apply for any other jobs. So I dedicated 5 years working for myself. I did that business. Then I moved my securities license over to Primerica Financial Services, where I was not only able to help with investing, but I picked up my life insurance license. And that experience, I was just really able to help a lot of people that were kind of just in probably more the situation the way I grew up, or they were at the stage of their life like I was. They didn't have a lot of money. So Primerica concentrated on, I say, lower middle income America. So they didn't already have to have a lot of money, but I can educate them about money and finances, make sure to get life insurance in place, teach them about even things like wills and, because we sold prepaid legal services. So I was able to help with all those things, debt management as well, which of course is another big thing that hinders people with their finances. So I did both of those things for 5.5 years, and then I decided to take on a job, with Chase Bank as a licensed banker. And that was a unique situation itself. If you guys remember, Chase actually, they took over the Washington Mutuals that were basically, they merged and took over the Washington Mutuals. So I had opened an account with the Chase in Chicago, but I never funded it. I was supposed to do direct deposit through my business. So I went to a Chase Bank. I was like, okay, I need to check on this account. I haven't, I didn't fund it. So next thing you know, they had me talking to everyone in Chase Bank. I don't know if you guys remember this, but Chase Bank used to do this thing. They have you talk to the banker. Oh, you have a mortgage? Let's talk to the mortgage first. Here, let's go over here and talk to the mortgage. Oh, you have a business? You need to go over here and let's talk to the business banker. So they had me talking to everyone at the bank. I said, hey, I might as well meet the manager. And so I was introduced to the manager, and that kind of was swirling through my head. I told him that, hey, I was thinking of getting back into and kind of working in financial services a little bit more, and maybe looking at the bank. And he said, send me his resume. And that's what I did. So I decided to take on that. I sent him my resume. He had a position that came up a couple weeks later, an interview for that, and took on a role as a licensed banker at Chase Bank in Altamont Springs. And so took on that opportunity. And I guess a little bit more about that, though, is that time was good, and it taught me a different area of finances. So if you see the progression, like you had Charles Schwab, which is an investment firm. You're helping whether it's self-directed investors, you're helping with some advice, you're helping with mainly just investments. Primerica is a life insurance company that does investments. So their life insurance is what they're going to lead with. Then you have banking, which banking services I'm helping with, everything from checking accounts to credit cards to lending needs and so forth. And then I was a business owner. So all those things I think helped me be a well-rounded financial advisor that I am today. And but because in the position as a licensed banker, I wasn't using my license as much as I wanted to. So that's when I started really just praying and looking for the right opportunity for a company I wanted to go to. I know I didn't want to do it at the bank because they had a lot of turnover in the financial advisor position there. And so basically I looked into different companies, different opportunities, but when I learned about Edward Jones, there was a lot of things I didn't know that really stood out. And I decided to go gun-ho for that opportunity with them, just due to their standing in the industry. Their advisors thought they were the best company to work for. Clients thought they were the best company to work for. And they were known as one of the best companies to work for of any industry.
Wow.
So
if it looked like a dog, smell like a dog.
Yeah.
It might be a dog.
I had to go check out that. I had to go check and see what that dog was all about.
Okay.
It really intrigued me, and I would say it has hands down been the best culture of any company I've been with.
Nice.
Oh yeah, and I definitely like the part where you worked for a company for 5 years and then you went on your own, do that for 5, which incorporate everything and get you where you're at today, run your own with Edward Jones. I think that's just fantastic. You learn from it, you excel from it, and you just, you're doing your thing.
Absolutely, yeah, and that's what Edward Jones looks for. They look for entrepreneur-minded individuals that you run your own office, so you basically don't have someone that's out telling you what to do. So you have full autonomy. You set up your offices in communities across the country, and as you can see, we're in Apopka. We're not in downtown Orlando, and so that's how our offices and how our advisors are a big part of the community. We try to, clients don't have to only talk to us by phone or call an 800 number. They're dealing with me directly, like you guys are sitting in the client seats. So this is how I interact with them, and this is how I build relationships with them. That face-to-face interaction is that's really the best. It's warm. We have all kind of technology now that we use, and I still use it, Zoom meetings, so forth, conference calls, so forth. But that's really what we're about: building relationships face to face, and being somewhere that they can come to, and really kind of have that relationship and that advice for their finances, which of course we know finances are very important.
Very, very important. Well, you really touched on something that was pivotal that sparked my interest, and that was going through market volatility early in your career. How has that helped you now to navigate, the ongoing fluctuations in the market and to provide the best service for your clients?
That actually is really a good question, Gene, because if the markets are always volatile. That's what the stock market is. You close your eyes and think of stock market, you think of a wiggly line, right? But if you really look at a wiggly line, and if you look at the trends of the stock market, that wiggly line is always trending up. So from year to year, stock market is gonna, it's gonna go up or down, but it's more years up than it is down. So seeing that volatility, seeing how it was when it went straight up when I started in the industry, to seeing, hey, then it had a period of decline.
Yep.
Then it went back up, say after 2002, but then also you had 2008 that happened with the financial crisis. So we all know about that. So that was a big dip down, and then it then continued to back up though, and then on through the pandemic. We had positive years during the pandemic.
Skyrocket.
Yeah, so the stock market averages about 3 years up, 1 year down.
Okay.
And so really, actually 4 years up, 1 year down. So it pretty much, if you look at it like this, I tell people, you look at it like the weather. So the weather is, so we know that every day is not going to be sunny. Okay, so you're going to have some rain. So you have to expect rain. So basically the down markets are rain. So to prepare for those down markets, say you want to make sure you have, say if it's rain, you're going to probably keep an umbrella in your car, right? You may keep a raincoat. You may make sure you're rolling your windows up on your car or your house, right? So in finances, since you know that a down market is going to happen, you're going to do the same thing. And if you want a smoother ride, then you build a diversified portfolio.
Yeah, I like that.
That's going to give you a smoother ride. You expect those declines. Say you maybe have some, if it's going to go back up, those declines. Hey, you can plan to put more money in when it's down, so that you can take advantage of that wave when it goes back up. Okay, so the numbers are the numbers, and it feels so bad when the stock market is going down. But if you look at it over time, all it is way more sunny days than down days, and you make your money over time. So that's my job, is educating people and helping their portfolio match their goals, but also match that comfort level with risk and volatility, because that's going to be different for everybody. Everybody drives at a different speed down the highway. True. So that's my job, is to really help educate them and find out what's their comfort level and match their money to that comfort.
Okay.
All right, perfect. Well, I know you brought up earlier about, especially this location of PACA and being involved in the community. How does it work with, how often are you in the community, how involvement are you? I know that's one of our key pillars of Route 7. So just curious, how does it work with, personal and for business use?
Yeah, that's definitely one of the things I like about Route 7 is our community involvement. And, as a financial advisor, I have huge community involvement as well. I mentioned, one of the ways I started my business was introducing myself old school way, where actually introducing myself door to door to neighborhoods and businesses as well, and actually building clients this way. I mean, you think of it as actually crazy, but hey, most people, just like we talked about with myself, most people don't understand money and finances. They can have investments, but they don't necessarily understand it. And if they don't have a really solid person that they can trust to really break it down to them and ask questions for them when they have, then hey, they kind of just go without. So when you're able to fill that void and present who you are, that's the start to building a relationship. So those are some things I've done face to face to build clients. I put on seminars in the communities. I've hosted seminars, these are just free financial educational seminars from various topics, retirement planning to the rules of the road of investing, to protecting their assets, partnering with estate planners to talk about estate planning as well. So it's just great seminars that we have a ton of them that I can go do, whether it's invite people to my seminar, or I can go out to a place and do a lunch and learn as well. So I've done those things in the community. And then just different organizations. It's important to kind of get out and meet people. So to be successful and to gain clients, you got to get out and meet people there. So it's not like I'm not like a retail store. I'm not like somebody's not going to come here like the Walgreens next door and get prescriptions because they need to. No, sometimes you got to put yourself in the place of need. So one of the organizations I'm a part of is BNI, Business Networking International. We have there's an APOFCA chapter. Now BNI is actually worldwide, but that organization is one professional per classification, meaning like I'm the only financial advisor in the group. And then you have someone can be like a CPA, they can be a bookkeeper, they can be a personal injury attorney, they can be a property and casualty insurance agent. But then you also have people that are blue collar workers. You have plumbers in the group, electricians. Have general contractor. Matter of fact, I met my general contractor for my office through BNI. I met my dentist through BNI. And so that's a great organization, and it's going to typically be the local business owners. So that's the community feel, and you do different things to give back to the community as well, whether it's put on showcases and give back to charities or whatever. The other thing, I'm a part of APOFCA Chamber as well, but of course you have various businesses, but APOFCA Chamber is great. We are kind of a tight-knit group, and you do different things in the community there. I'm actually on the board for the APOFCA pension plan. So I've probably been on the board for about, 5 years or more. And that actually came as a recommendation from the mayor at the time. So so it's good. Hey, your name gets around, and so being able to be on the pension board is good. And you're definitely supporting the community, from a pension standpoint. And then the other things I'm a part of, I actually wanted to, so Route 7, well, we're going to get to that in a minute, but one of the best organizations I'm a part of, I have a buddy who has an organization, it's called Mailbox Money. And this is basically a community of engagers, and what we do, anybody can be an engager and contribute. What you do is pay the same dollar amount. It's like micro philanthropy. Everybody pays about $10 a month. But the goal of this is to do random acts of kindness. And I know you guys have seen and been around random acts of kindness. Someone may pay for somebody groceries, you're out and about or whatever, or you do whatever nice. So these are intentional things that are done through random acts of kindness that are voted on, and they do it throughout the city and other parts of the country. So that's a really cool thing to be a part of, and the goal is to spread kindness around the world. And I also love what I do with my Route 7 brothers. The unique thing there is the brotherhood. So it's about men that is basically looking at get some things that hold ourselves, get accountability partners in whatever that area of life. Because think about the different things we do there. You got mental health seminars that we do. We have financial seminars. We have give back to the youth things that we do. We have just community giveaways. So being a part of those things are just great with the Route 7. So I was fortunate enough to have met you guys, and I kind of, as soon as I heard it, it fits me. I'm a part of it.
Yeah, it's definitely been a pleasure having you, and a lot of things you do, similar to what you said, like giving back to the youth. And I know one of the main things bringing you to Orlando, you talk about your little one, your son, and that was kind of, go into that and like fatherhood, like how's the experience, you have two, amazing, boys, and, lead to more to that, like how's that experience being a father?
Yeah, man, that's probably just, that's definitely one of the best things. And, being able to be a father and a parent is like you're basically, God has our life in His hands, right? But you really truly do have your child's life and their future in your hands, because everything starts from you as a parent and what they see at home, and kind of the way that you can guide them through life. So I became a father at an early age, so basically 21, right before I turned 22, and right when I graduated college too. So I really hit the I hit the real world for real.
Oh, you graduated.
God.
I wouldn't recommend that to the audience out there. So you guys don't hit the real world and really hit the real world. Take your time. But at the same time, I think I was equipped to do it. Yeah. And I think one of the reasons is my family upbringing. Basically, always had a strong family dynamic, mother and father in the household, extended uncles and aunties. We have community feel there, even neighbors and so forth. So being a father, and we were touching on it earlier, it came natural to me. I didn't look at myself as a young father. I didn't look at myself as, oh man, I'm going to take on, I'm just graduating, I'm just getting this job, how am I going to do it? It just came natural. It's like I just accepted the role, and it was a blessing. You have this little baby that you talk about it now, like this little baby that looked like you. I had sons, and so he gave my oldest my first my name, my namesake, so Byron Tobias Jr. He's done great. I'm proud of him. I think he saw some of my entrepreneur past in life. He was around those, and now he works as a licensed barber. He was doing some college, but he was reluctant to come to me for some reason. But he told me that at one point he said, "Hey, I want to be a barber," and I think he was reluctant because he thought I was going to say something different, like, "Nah, you got to go to college route." Like, no, there's many different ways to be successful, and if that's what you're passionate about, hey, barbers can make great money. It's all about hey, what you're passionate at. I tell all young people what you're passionate at, and then also, hey, how you're gonna hold the responsibility for the money that you are making, and make sure it just gives you the lifestyle that you're making. So he's great, and then also as a father, I think you guys on your first, right? You only have one. Yeah. Okay, so when the second one comes, you're gonna think.
Might be one and done.
Okay. Okay. But if the second one comes, it's not necessarily going to be like the first one. So my first one, he was a quiet, good, very, very good baby. Didn't have a lot of waking up at night, kind of what you're going through. Yeah. However, the second one, I think, Braylon, my son Braylon, I think you guys have met him. He's the same way he is now as a 12-year-old. He was like that as a baby. He wants some attention. So he's definitely a people's person that wants that attention, and so he's just a completely different character and not as shy as BJ. And so it's just great raising him and helping him become really a great young man.
That's really good, man. And basically, especially in your field, what kind of legacy would you like to leave behind for them?
Yeah, so legacy, you think of that word, it can mean so many things. Yeah. Legacy is it's not just financial. You think of the legacies that go throughout history that we've got from people that affect our life now. Whether it's our ability to actually have equal pay, or be an attempt for equal pay, our ability to vote. Those legacies, our ability to basically attend schools and live in certain communities. So there's different people that led those different legacies, right? Mm-hmm. So you have those kind of legacies that you can leave behind, to your kids and your community, and then you have financial legacies. So both of those things is what I would want to leave behind. Definitely a financial legacy, because I do feel finances is hugely important. Because I often tell people, really, I put faith first, God first, so faith first, family second, but I put finances right after those two things. Okay. And people, people say, well, no, maybe health should go there, or this go there. But for me, the reason finances go there is because you need finances really for everything else. You actually need finances for the family, but that love is going to be there regardless. Mm-hmm. And hopefully your faith is there regardless of anything else going on. But finances, you need it for good health care, for eating well, for good healthy lifestyle. You need finances for that. You need finances for being, for just being in the right neighborhoods, to be able to acquire assets or whatever, or to know how to use money properly as you make it, and how not to be taken advantage of when it comes to credit. Just think about when kids go to college, first thing they get offered is
credit cards. Yep.
They get offered credit cards. And how much money they making?
None at all.
They ain't making none at all, but they getting access to what they think is free money.
On top of the student loan.
Yeah. Exactly. So that's just so important. They learn about money and finances. So that's the legacy. I want to leave financial money to my kids, but I want them to be good stewards and educated about how money works.
Yeah.
And so that they don't just
if you get it, you got to know to do it.
Exactly. Because believe me, I could have easily did something differently with that inheritance if I wasn't smart, if I didn't listen to my mother's parents' advice, if I didn't listen to that banker. Hey, I could have just went and spent freely. I could have had my rims and tires
There you go.
and everything else or whatever. I could have been doing whatever else in college, but it really helped lay a foundation, and just like we're talking about now, hopefully it helped start the legacy that I'm working on today.
Love that. So I want to dive into getting to know why you became a member of Route 7. Let's, if you don't mind touching on that for us.
Sure. So how about I tell you how I became?
Yeah, let's do it.
You want to do that too? So how I became it is basically there's a gentleman. Well, actually there was an event that was going on in town in Orlando. It was called my Black Friday. I think Black Friday Orlando. That's what was going on. I'm forgetting a young lady name. Her name is Nisha something. Nisha Samuels. I'm forgetting her name, but she's a part. Lakeisha Samuels. Yeah, she actually is from Chicago. Lakeisha Samuels.
Yep.
So she was a part of the marketing arm that put that together. But I heard about it somehow, right? That they had this going on. It was coinciding with Juneteenth. And as I mentioned, I definitely try to be a part of community events, and then my ears perk up even more when they're African American community events, because hey, I know the education they need behind certain things. So I look to be a sponsor in that event and be a part of their scavenger hunt that they had. So they had people go around to different businesses to basically to visit the business and get whatever information. So that's what I did. I was a part of that business to be a part of that particular day as a sponsor and a part of the scavenger hunt. And then actually I didn't have too many people come by, probably because I'm in Apopka and a lot of the business and places in Orlando. They're like, nah, let me check, let me go over here to get these other spots or whatever. I ain't going all the way in Apopka, ain't nothing else over here. But pretty much, so I didn't have a lot of people come by, but still it felt good to be a part of. But actually shortly after that event, a gentleman on LinkedIn named Reginald Parks, he had said that, hey, I have someone I was referring you to see that's looking for a financial advisor. And actually they prefer a black financial advisor. And so that person was you. was Gene, Gene. And so pretty much that led me to an introduction, a meeting with you. So long story short, that meeting led me also to learning more about you, and you introducing me later to Route 7 and what you have going on, and just that friendship and brotherhood that we have now. And when I heard about Route 7, what they do, I was all for it, just because I love when men are doing things together. I love when they're doing things for the community. I love when they're doing things where other people can look at them in a certain way. And
Very
so,
important.
yeah, I love the different things that we were involved in, so I was gung ho for it.
Nice. Well, I do want to segue into the event that we have coming up next month. Wednesday, April 26th is going to be our 5th annual Money Talks Financial Literacy Speaker Series. And you've been so gracious to lend your services as a panelist. And the focus on this year's event is going to be on family legacy. And you really, throughout this conversation, hit the nail on the head on why it's important to, number one, be educated. Number two, the different services that are out there that people can take advantage of that they might not know anything about, not have heard some of these terms, not may be familiar, or let alone to the point that oftentimes many of us have, we're not having those conversations in our household, in our inner circles, or at work, or anything like that. So I think it's definitely important that you are contributing your time, your talents, and your efforts to help educate the community. So just want to get a sense of your background in doing this. I know you've done this already, but you're going to be joined on the panel. We had to get some other insights as well. But just want to know why are these type of conversations important? If you don't mind just elaborating on that.
Sure. And hey, thank you for letting me know about the series and allowing me to be on the panel. That's
Sure.
actually a blessing in itself. You're looking at what you feel my talents are and allowing that to be on display, for one of the marquee events of Route 7.
Yep.
So this is a marquee community event.
Yep.
And so what have we been talking about? Community service and helping the community, but one of the best ways to help the community is educate them around the things that they are going to be able to need and use, which is definitely money is something that they're going to need and use. Absolutely. Right?
Yep.
So as we've already talked about, you don't learn about money and finances in school. I didn't even learn about money and finances really in college.
Yep.
So you typically are going to learn from your parents, or you're going to learn the hard way, unless you have different avenues of information that you're either seeking out or that's available to you. So that's what we're doing with this speaker series, Money Talk series, is we're bringing that information to the community. And for myself, what I will definitely be able to hone in on is the importance of investing, and the importance of letting people know that investing doesn't mean you have to be wealthy to invest.
Exactly.
Actually a great story that I recently helped someone with. Had nothing to do with them becoming a client, but this lady, she called my office and she wanted to get her son started investing. Said he's a young man. I think I don't even know if he was in his 20s yet, maybe in the low 20s or 18 or something. But hey, he works at Walmart. I want him to make sure he does the right thing with his money. I want to sit down with you and get him started investing. So I listened to her, and I just start asking more and more questions. So I'm like, okay, what is he looking to invest for? Well, he's looking to invest for the long term. I want him to really stack money for long term future. I'm like, oh, so for like retirement? Yes, I want him to get started now, and so that he doesn't struggle later. Worry about that. So what I was able to find out for them is, hey, Walmart, you can start the 401k plan right away. There's really no waiting period. And they match dollar for dollar up to 6%. Wow. So guess what, ma'am? That's going to be the best place for him to invest. Because yes, I can help, but I'm not putting any money. I'm not putting any matching any money. But that's a place where he can invest, and he's going to have a choice of funds, or I can educate you on what those look like. And he's going to be able to put this money, and he's vested right away with that match. That was the other thing. Wow. They vested the match right away, so even if he decides to leave, he gets to keep that money that he put in as well as what the company put in. And so she was like, so she couldn't believe it. So she was like, okay, yeah, me and him are going to make that call right now. So it's just little things like that are, you can just educate people, and it just leads them to doing better, being better equipped with their finances. So if I can be a part of that in any way, that's what I'm looking to lend to the panel. Whether it's going to be minor information, simple things, or whether it's going to be advanced things, depending on our level of topic. But the key is invest, protect your assets with life insurance, pass them to your heirs properly. It's a simple thing, but we can't procrastinate with none of it. That's the bottom line. You can't procrastinate with none of it.
There you go. Well, we're definitely going to love you to be on the panel. We're so excited about the event. But besides that, I mean, what's next for you? What goals you have coming up, or what are you looking to do moving forward?
Well, the good thing is I'm really I'm off to a good year, a good start to the year. The market is better, but from a business standpoint, I do like the start to the year that I'm off to, and I'm focused there. What I really enjoy doing is I like working with people that are really focused on retirement planning. So that tends to click on the brain like right around 50, age 50. And that's one of the reasons why the government allows you to put more money in your retirement accounts once you turn 50. So basically that's a big part for me is focusing on the more ideal clients. I love working with entrepreneurs as well. So I can learn more about entrepreneurs and get introduced to successful entrepreneurs, and making sure that they know that it's on them to build their own retirement plan. Because a lot of entrepreneurs, they get caught up in just their business, and they can. A lot of people make money, and even professionals, they are great at making money, but you want your money to be sustainable. You want your
don't
money
forget
to
about that
make,
whole step.
yeah, you want your money to make money, and you want to be able to save on taxes. If you save on something, that's a form of making money.
Yeah.
That's actually a 100% return.
Yeah.
Because that's money you didn't have to spend towards something. So those are things that ideal clients I'm looking to just work with more, do more seminars. Great to be a part of the speaker series. Great to be on this spotlight. A couple other things that I'm looking to work on and gather some of those. It was in terms of, so I mentioned I put on some of my own seminars.
Yeah.
Actually have a virtual seminar that I'm looking to do in a couple weeks. That's just going to be on long-term investing. So
make sure you give us that information so that we can help promote that for you, for sure.
Absolutely. And then just some other things that I'm looking to do. What's next for me is, hey, just have more of a presence. I mentioned being over in Apopka. Sometimes everyone may not know about you.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure I have a bigger presence in the greater Orlando area. Make sure that everyone knows, even if they have friends or family in other states, I'm able to assist them. I'm licensed in multiple states now, about 6 other states. And just being a resource to the community, resource to people, and really grow my practice, grow my business. That's going to help me create a bigger legacy, not only locally but personally as well. And that's what's next for me. Just working hard, man.
Looking forward to it. Well, we love to support any and every way that we can. Before we end our conversation, what has been your most memorable Route 7 Orlando experience?
Most memorable, we do a lot of great things. So I got my son a little bit involved in the speaker series, the youth public speaking series. That was great. But we didn't get to get fully involved. So
it's all good.
So he got to really take the full course that we have him putting on. And then also, what are some other things that we do that I really love? I love the we have the community, the give backs.
The Thanksgiving
time
for giving. Yeah.
But my most memorable thing is actually I enjoy the camaraderie amongst the members and amongst the men, and we kind of have quarterly this thing called portfolio plays. I don't think we've had our first one this year.
Yeah, we're getting there. Getting there.
So portfolio plays. If you don't know about portfolio plays, it's great.
Coming soon.
Portfolio plays, what it is just a gathering of people just talking, but they're talking about different ways of building wealth and what's working for their money. So it's not just talking about investing, but you have people out there that are doing different things, whether it's through real estate, whether it's through franchises, whether it's this type of real estate, whether it's flipping homes, whether it's Airbnb.
It's a fun time.
We had a great conversation in our last Portfolio Plays breakfast. That will be on the calendar soon.
Yes.
So stay tuned.
So I love to contribute to those. I love to learn about other avenues. I love to talk about finances and learn more information from others. And seeing how people, that's what it's all about. Learning from others, taking that information and sharing it.
There we go. Well, we appreciate you joining us for our member spotlight. Thank you for contributing to Route 7. We look forward to seeing you on April the 26th for our Money Talk speaker series, and just appreciate you being a member and a dope man.
Thank you, man. Appreciate that.
It was a pleasure.
Thank you. Take care.